It is a new, beautiful morning. This is the YouTube Yacht Project. It is a boat-themed rental cabin we're building. Not only is it a boat-themed rental cabin, it's pretty much a boat. We're just building a boat. It's about as boat-themed as a boat-themed cabin can be. Look at that, that's the moon. What a treat. I had a couple hours yesterday afternoon, and I thought, I bet I can piddle my way through some progress, and we did. Looks great. I ordered 8 tubes of that zip system flashing for the bottom side. Stuff's fairly expensive, but it is the bee's knees. But I only ordered what I thought would be about half of it because it is so expensive. Good news is we made it like 3/4 of the way around. and we just have this section left. And I've got the rest of it already ordered, so it should be in next week. But that's got to go on, and then we've got this flashing we just put on. We're doing LP smart siding on this, and I want that smart siding up off of that concrete. So this will give us a little bit of a thing to be off the concrete. Should work pretty decent. We're going to pedal our way to progress up there a little bit today too. Let me take you on a journey on what is without a doubt the coolest spiral staircase on my property. Watch your head. A fella ought to invest in some actual doorknobs, you know? Beautiful. Another beautiful morning. Can you just imagine? We're gonna put a little bench right here. Let me get you down to bench height. There we go. Looking out at the fall colors in 2026 or 2027, 28, 29. Fella just doesn't really know. Benches are probably not this low, but I couldn't stop myself. Fall off this and down. That thing is 130. What I need is this distance here, or this height here. Center. And then the obvious next step is we just hook a chalk line from here to that mark, we pop it, and we cut it. But just in case you've lost your chalk line, you know, there's some other options for making this mark. I definitely didn't lose mine. This is just to help you out in case you lose yours. Is the point of having this box to put things in if you don't put things in it, Mike? Unbelievable. I don't know, this is calls for celebration of some sort. Love it. All right, now where do I put the saw at? Okay. That way if someone else needs to cut off the pile, it's handy, you know. You know all these channels where they're building stuff and everything goes so smoothly? It's called editing. I'm serious. If you ever watch a channel and everything they're doing, every tool is where they need it to be, everything is going the way they want it to go. Listen, I was in the industry for several years. That's not like that. It's not. I once saw the most organized man I've ever met in my life drive off a job site with all of his sliding toolboxes open and then listen to those toolboxes cascade down the hill after the first bumpy hit on the gravel road. So you could definitely be more organized than me though. Let's do ourselves a favor and go ahead and get some screws started. Listen, I realize the sun's coming up right there, so you probably can't see, but what a shot, huh? She's beautiful. It's not awful, but there's a little lip right there. I'd like that to be flush so when we shove our metal up in there, there's not something pushing out on it. It's not bad. And then these. Beautiful. So if that filled in, now we can run our J the rest of the way, and that'll be F channel and F channel there. Let's work on getting that trim ran, then we can shove some soffit in. I don't know if you're picking up how difficult this section of soffit's gonna be. There's gonna be a lot of putting some pieces up, getting some measurements and then taking stuff back down just because of the order of the nailing flanges and the way we have to do the angles to make this work. But I think it's going to be the best look. It's a lot of extra work. It absolutely is. It is a tremendous amount of extra work. It absolutely is. Are there easier ways? Absolutely. The easiest way to do this is not to build a boat-shaped cabin in the woods, but we're building a boat-shaped cabin. So we're gonna take all the time necessary to get the details right and make this look how I envision it in my head. I had a few people say I should have ran that soffit perpendicular. You can, absolutely. In fact, I don't know if I would call it the norm, but it's definitely something you do see quite a lot of, to run soffit perpendicular from the building. We used to build houses, we would run soffit perpendicular, but there's nothing that says you have to run it that way. We ran a lot of homes with long soffit like we're doing, just like we're doing here, and it always turned out great, looked great. Somebody said it's not strong to run soffit like this. It's not a strength thing, it's all personal preference. There's nothing that says you have to do it this way or have to do it that way, at least not where we live anyway. This is the pattern I've chosen. I think it's gonna look the best when it's done. I'm just not gonna be super thrilled in the process, okay? So just, we'll push some smiles through. We'll get them in there. Busy time of year for us with extracurriculars right now, so I gotta take off. But after a few hours, we've got that all trimmed out. That channel on the front, all the way around this side. So we're ready to start getting some soffit in. It's a new afternoon. I've got like 3 or 4 hours I can piddle on this for a little bit. We've got to run our long piece of soffit, but the way the nailing flange goes, technically we got to start in the middle and come out. In fact, now that I say that out loud, I don't even know if I need a piece of soffit. I just need a good long straight edge that'll tuck into that J and extend out, and I can make marks and we can measure back off of that to get our starting point. And the goal is that when we come to here, we meet up perfectly with this full width piece, so we don't have to rip this full width piece, and then it matches that look all the way around the side. I'm just gonna, oh, excuse me, tuck this piece of J up inside there. Make sure it's up against that wall good. And we'll do the same thing over there. Get a good mark. And I'm gonna do it twice. It's kind of like measuring twice. I'm gonna run that line twice, just to make sure I wasn't sitting on something silly the first time. This center support right here. We need to transfer this down, and we've got to do a double J in here. Best way I know to do that, we'll just square up, make a mark, same thing. Now, I don't think I did a good job of squaring that off whenever I was hanging out of the lift, but we're a little bit more comfortable now, so we can take the time and square this over better. Pull a measurement tight. I wish you guys could see. Every now and then I hear a noise, and then he's too far away. It won't pick up on camera. We'll try. You look way out in the distance, way out through there. Every now and then you'll see that hound dog's, just the white tip of his tail, just wagging, living his best life. And we'll just cut 2 pieces. Been this for a while. You remember somebody dumped that dog years ago here. Well, they didn't dump him here. They dumped him in the area. And he was pretty good at finding a house that had little kids that loved feeding them scraps. We say he's not our dog, but he sure does spend a lot of time here. Anyway, anytime I'm just floating a double J, I just do that. I bend it over. Match the cut on this side. If you want to be real professional, you could pop rivet that together. That ain't me, bub. That ain't me. And I'll clip my corners just so it slides in a little easier. Same on these. All in places that won't be visible. Without a doubt. Just like that. Center it up with those marks. And I'll just put marks here as a reference. Just a way to terminate these two angles when they come together in the middle. And I've got all these off-fall pieces neatly stacked in the corner. They should be long enough to use for this section. If we line this up, line that mark up, and forget where we put our pencil. No, got it. Pockets. Trace that angle on the back side, get established with it. We're lined up on that mark, we're back on that. So. Too long, or are we just off? Oh, no, we're not too long. We're just rotated. Probably one. Okay. And then I'm just going to go ahead and copy that at least 4 times so we can go ahead and assemble it, mark where it's going to be, and make sure it's all going to work out widthwise. So we have these in, and I've got that locked in, simulating this piece running here. So now I know where this piece needs to go, which means now I know what size this piece needs to be. Make sure that's where it needs to be. See him down there? He's living his best life. Happiest boy. I can't believe you guys want me to finish this thing and take the joy away from that dog. He can't roam out here if you're renting it. That's what you want? You want that dog to not be happy anymore? See that? See how fast I was at reading that? Super fast. Super fast. Then you have to get up there on the double check. Just gonna put a scrap up in here, trace that. It's gonna be your angle for this end. See what we end up with here. Maybe a touch long, it's all right, we can trim it. $27 inches too long? That seems excessive. quick trim on the spot. Up she goes. Get one in start. This guy's fancy. There we go. She looks fantastic. See the way with that transition piece we put in there? See how that? Look at that. Look at that. That lines up beautifully. And all the ugliness along that, it all gets hidden when you put the siding up. That is brilliant. Might as well go ahead and run one more longer one on the port side real quick, and then we'll go ahead and hop over to the starboard side. That's right, we're using nautical terms because she's a boat, and we'll get that side caught up. I've been dreading doing this little detail because it's pretty time consuming, but I am absolutely tickled with the way it's turning out. Somebody made a comment, they said, Mike, you act like you're stalling on this thing. I'm not acting like it. I've been telling you the whole time I am stalling. I don't want to do it. All right, that's just a matter of the fact. But I'll tell you this, as we work through these details and get closer to the actual siding part, I'm getting more and more excited. These little details, you work all day on the daggone thing and it looks like you didn't get anything done. But once we get to the siding and we can start slapping up that siding, oh my goodness, it's going to change the whole look of this thing. I'm not super fond of the way I just said, oh my goodness. I don't normally talk like that. But anyway, the point is I'm starting to get excited about it. I do have some bad news though. Well, it's okay. It's good news. It's bad news for you guys. That's all. Not bad. Those two don't line up perfect, which neither did the deck board. So that's good. We're consistent. We are consistent. But I like it. It looks good. I'm not doing any more of that today. This was the mental hurdle, and we have crossed it. Last thing I want to do, because I keep almost stepping on this edge over here, even though it's unsupported and those are cut, I want to go ahead and route that radius. You can see where we made that custom glue lam curved radius band board. I've got some of this Luan left over. We're going to screw this to the front of it, and that way we can run the router across it and it'll give us a lip after we take it off. Make sure those screws are not sticking out, otherwise my router bit will bounce off of it. Go ahead and secure all these, that way everything's flush, be a little easy for the router to pass from one to the other. It's not necessarily as clean as I'd like, but it was fine until the bit decided to burn through. And I say the bit, I'm the one using it. You can't blame the tools. We burnt through the Luan. Well, people just get to see what it would look like if a beaver trimmed a deck. So that's like an added experience. I should charge more for that. Not bad. It's not my proudest routing job, but it'll do the trick. I'm not too overly concerned about it. A little bit more progress. Piddling is progress, and that's fine. Look how good that curved, I don't know where it's at on the screen. Look how good that curved deck looks though. Soffit looking good. Here's the bad news. I'm not coming back to this in the next video. No, we've got an excavation job, and that pays us money, and we can take that money and put it into the boat. And we're also almost out of excavation season, so I need to get this knocked out. Next video, we'll be hauling some equipment. Video after that, some land clearing. Video after that, some dozering and sheep's footing. It's gonna be a good time, and when we get that excavation job, then we'll be back on this. The thing is, until I get Dirt Perfect's Man Lift, which is currently being used, and until I get Not Your Average Millennials Metal Brake, which is currently being used, I can't really do much on the siding anyway. And that stuff should be available when we're done with the excavation job. So despite the appearance of the channel, we do have a little bit of time management skills. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the YouTube Yacht Build. If you've been with us for a while, we're still chugging along on her. You know, it's happening. Can't thank you guys enough for watching. I know I forget to say it from time to time, but it's there. I'm always thinking it. I always mean it.